I read 6 books in the month of February, so let's go through them with a quick yes or maybe if I'd recommend them to you. And let's yap about them for a little bit. I truly believe I am 90% out of my reading slump, specifically because I started reading a series, and if you haven't seen, I've been yapping about it all week, that I am absolutely obsessed with. Anyways, let's get into it. First up, we have Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. Now, this is set in the 1960s about a sheep farmer's wife, and randomly, out of the blue, her first love moves back to town. With him moving back to town, her world is literally flipped upside down. It gets very messy very quickly. It definitely makes things awkward for the husband's brother, the husband's brother's wife. So yeah, lots of secrets, lots of guilt, and even I am going to just say this, I am going to give this a maybe. I love historical fictions, but this one just didn't really scratch the itch that I was looking for from this book. I just think the plot lost me a bit along the way. One of my most loathed trope is in this, so I don't want to say it without giving it away because I do think it's a bit of a spoiler. So maybe. Next we have The Tenant by Freida McFadden. Look, I have been in the worst reading slump, and whatever you want to say about Freida McFadden's newer stuff, she does just write really quick paced books that typically help me get out of a reading slump. The Tenant, I'm also going to say maybe to this. High maybe. Amongst her more newer books that I've read, I have not liked them that much. This one was much better. In The Tenant, we have this couple. The guy is definitely the breadwinner within this relationship. He loses his high-paying job. Some crazy stuff happens out of his control, and he has a huge mortgage on the home that they have. So they end up needing to get a roommate. And in typical Freida McFadden fashion, the roommate is not the situation you would think it would be. I would still say this is a maybe. I'll put it at a high maybe. However, I do think some of her other older books are much better than this. My camera decided to not record for a bit, so I'll try and be quick with it because I've been talking about it all week, but the Red Rising trilogy is fantastic. Every single piece of this is a masterpiece. The amount of emotional turmoil in this book is insane. I'm obsessed with the series. The first one, if you're not liking it, it's okay, because the second one makes up for it more. In fact, the second one made me rethink how much I treated the first one poorly. And Morningstar, I don't think I've ever read a perfect ending to a trilogy in such a long time. So this is absolute perfection. Yes, yes, yes. Don't be like me. This was on my bookshelf for maybe over a year. Do not be like me. Read it. If you have it, read it. But mentally prepare yourself. And if I thought that I didn't have enough emotional trauma from the original trilogy, I decided to go right into the next trilogy with Iron Gold. There's 3 books out in this series, and hopefully the 4th one comes out soon, because I am ripping through the series, and if there's anything I know about Pierce Brown and his books is that there's usually a big cliffhanger within the last 20% of this book that isn't answered until halfway through the following book. I was trying to take my time with this series, but it is so highly addictive. You need to know what happens next immediately. And it's so fast paced. Every single chapter there is something going on. The only thing is it is a complete shift within the writing style. We get multiple POVs. We still get relatively most of the same cast of characters as we had in the original trilogy, but there's definitely more sprinkled into the mix. I like these new characters. It did take me a minute though, because I was like, wait, where's the rest of my people? I'm halfway through Dark Age right now, and oof, it's pretty intense. The tone shift within this series is very different from the first one. If you thought that the first trilogy was pretty dark, this is yeah, beyond that. But anyways, these were the books that I read in the month of February. I'm very excited for the books in March, especially to continue on in the Red Rising series, because what a wild ride. But anyways, that's all. Toodaloo.